Welcome to It's On Halifax with your hosts, Mark Adam and Pat King. It's On Halifax is brought to you by Maladjusted Media and Oasis on Spring Garden Road.
Hi, welcome to another episode of It's On Halifax. I'm one of your hosts, Mark Adam.
And sitting beside him is the ever-present Pat King.
Ever present, but not always on time.
Fuck you, I was on time today.
I know it's my fault today. We're so late.
I ran here again.
And today is my fault.
Well, but just believe us when we say that any delays are because we're trying to improve the experience for you, the listener.
Yes, Skyping is all like new and improved.
We're trying to improve. You have to start calling us so we know this shit works.
Yeah, It's On Halifax. Just that's the name of the Skype handle. Add it, call it, and we'll talk.
Yeah, we can discuss topics that we bring up, or give us a call and maybe you want our opinion on something. And Landers the shit out of something.
First thing I want to talk about this week. Facebook now handles hashtags.
Oh, really? Does that have to be a thing?
It does have to be a thing.
Why is that a thing?
It makes me happy because now I can stop being mad at people for using hashtags on Facebook.
I'm still mad at people for using hashtags on Facebook. The fact that they work is completely irrelevant. You got your Twitter and my Facebook.
Nope, now Facebook has that functionality built in. Now you're Facebooking. Brings up entire conversations. Anybody who's ever tweeted IOHPC as a hashtag or whatever it is you want to click on, right? By the way, that's how you can keep up to date with us during the show. You can tweet or now use Facebook and post with the hashtag IOHPC. You can actually tweet directly at us at It's On Halifax. You can tweet me at MarkAdamHFX. Pat here is Pat King HFX. And the lovely Emily Dewar, our controller, is not MJ_979. She's EMJHFX. MJHFX. Yeah.
Yeah, good owner.
I know. We're getting there. Full words maybe to come.
We're like a superhero team now.
We can make people change their Twitter handles.
The HFX crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
I even made a new Gmail account with Pat King HFX. It's my all business account.
My photo company is MJ Photo HFX, I believe.
On Twitter?
It just makes sense.
I can't even remember.
Well, Emily's got her photography company has a new website.
It's not up yet, but
it's
it
not
will
up
be.
yet, but it's coming.
Yeah.
For now, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/MJPhotoHFX.
I like it. And her pictures are very good. She did my...
Lex.
Lex is grinding his teeth on the microphone. We can't have that. I forgot what I was saying now.
Lex just barges in,
takes
over the show.
Took over everything. What's up, bud? What can we do for you, Cat? Cat?
You have something to say? No, nothing.
No, you're good. But let's move on to topic numero uno. Let's go. If we scroll down Facebook to last week, to where there was a lot of posts this week. Some good, some bad.
None of them mine.
Oh well, there you go. First off, there was a man approaching children right here in Halifax.
Apparently, he might not just be approaching children either. A friend of mine believes that he approached her as well on the street, and she's like over 25. So.
Yeah, but does she look young?
No.
No.
So he's just an indiscriminate possible.
So children
rapist.
and women beware. Maybe men too. We don't know.
Yeah, that's super creepy is what that is.
Yeah, he's just an absolute creep show. I'm sure they'll find him sometime. Well, no, honestly, that's a fucking lie. Our police force is garbage.
They definitely don't have a reputation for catching a lot of these types of people.
Nope. No, not really.
But yes, he has approached an 11-year-old boy, a 14-year-old girl, a 12-year-old girl, and a 16-year-old girl.
This guy will put it in anything. It's awful.
Well, and you're also assuming it's for...
Sexual purposes?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what else is it?
I don't know. It's just fucking weird, is what it is.
Maybe he just gets off on murder, but maybe I don't know.
But I mean, if these are all the cases of this person approaching people, how many people has he successfully?
Well, yeah, I'd like to know what. Sure, he's approaching people. Well, what is he saying? What is he propositioning them with? Like, how is he putting it?
Yeah, the details aren't in the report.
I mean, the way things are this day and age, he could be pulling over and asking people for the time, and they freak out and call the police. Fuck knows.
Well, these were like, they asked the girl, "I'll drive you to school."
Oh, see, no, that's awful.
Yeah. What was the other one? Like, basically, emotion to get in. Like, he just keeps telling him, "Get in the car, get in the car."
Yeah, I'll drive you where you're going.
Yeah, wherever I'll give you a lift.
Luckily, it seems kids are smarter these days.
Yeah, stranger danger with the existence of the internet. Oh man, when parents teach you everyone's a stranger and they're all out to kill you.
Yeah.
In this case, it's beneficial. Why is it that when I conjure an image of this man in my head, he's wearing clown makeup?
I don't know, but it's not a blue van with free candy written on the side.
If it were, I'd be all over it. Oh. Milky Way? Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was the disconcerting thing. There's also the Minister of Defense, the Canadian Minister of Defense at that, admits there are aliens on Earth.
Admits that he thinks there are aliens on Earth.
But then he goes on, if you watch the video, like, we're not going to do that, but if you watch the video, he goes on to actually explain all of the different accounts he's heard, and he, like, lets all of this info out.
How do these people make it into office? He's obviously a fucking kook.
Is it so strange to think
or maybe there are aliens on Earth?
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. He
actually says there are 2 aliens working with the United States government right now.
That is fucking ridiculous.
He actually says that.
There's absolutely no way that you could cover up something like that. I mean, with the amount of government leaks going on...
Dude, hot dogs will kill you, and they've been hiding that since the 70s.
They haven't been hiding that. The information's been there. It just took a really long time for anyone to fucking look at it, because they were like, man, these hot dogs are delicious.
Well, the problem is the food industry paid everyone off.
Yeah, lobbyists. That's the way lobbying works.
Yes.
But the information was there the whole time.
Yeah, well, and this information apparently is there, but nobody's looking for it.
Well, Europe just looked for it and found it and said, you know what, we're taking it off the market. Now everyone in the U.S. knows that that's the case. Nobody fucking cares. So, I mean, with aliens, I mean, if Roswell happened, and, I mean, how much information is there? I mean, I just find it ridiculously difficult to believe that if there were forms of alien life, that they were intelligent enough to make it here to Earth, and if they were working with the U.S., I feel like, there would be... I mean, what are they doing? Why are they even here? Like, why would they work with the U.S. of any country in the world? It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. It's just conspiracy theories. And conspiracy theories are generally, when inspected very closely, fall apart almost immediately. Don't get me wrong, I believe that maybe somewhere life exists, maybe even intelligent life, but I don't know if they're totally concerned with us. I mean...
And that's fair.
And if they're here, I don't think the human race would handle it quite as badly as...
Independence Day.
Yeah, or, as Hollywood makes it out to think. If aliens were among us, I'd be psyched. I'd be so psyched.
You want to talk E3, or you want to get that in the second half?
Is it more depressing legal shit?
No.
Oh.
No, I just want to talk about some of the announcements.
Oh, you mean E3?
What'd I say?
E3 or the other stuff. Never mind, let's talk about E3. Just because I really loved E3 this year.
Moving on.
There's some really wicked games coming out this year.
Yeah.
Titanfall.
Yeah.
Looks really interesting.
Yeah, it really visually looks intense. But I was really pumped for The Division as well. And I'm pretty sure both of them are actually Tom Clancy games, if I'm not mistaken.
Titanfall's
no,
Tom Clancy?
Titanfall is not a Tom Clancy game.
I didn't think so. this is someone else's take on futuristic combat.
Yes. Yeah, but the Division, the MMO, I mean, really, it was kind of a benchmark year. It was fucking huge. Ubisoft came out with more footage from Watch Dogs.
That looks amazing.
Which blew my mind.
Well, you always said you're not a fan of MMOs, but you're a fan of the Division?
Oh, the Division, yeah, absolutely. Because,
well, what's the difference in your mind then?
Well, because MMOs, I mean, you're usually playing individually, or you're playing fetch quests, you know, go here, kill as many of these little enemies, blah, blah, blah. There's no computer-based enemies in the Division. You're just playing against other people. There's other factions. It's entirely player versus player. It looks brilliant, for starters. I mean, the whole thing about it was just gorgeous. And in the preview, you see they open up the menu for character building and skill development, and it's huge. I'd be hard-pressed to find another MMO or RPG that has such a gigantic skill tree and character customization menu.
I guess I haven't looked as in-depth into it as you have.
Oh, man.
But the idea being to you that there's no NPCs.
Exactly. It's a completely player-developed world.
And for those, because I know there's people that watch this that have no idea what we just said, NPCs are non-player characters. They're basically an AI that you play against.
And there are NPCs, but they're there to help develop the world. They have interesting dialogue.
So they're not your enemies.
Yeah, exactly. You're there to help them or murder them or whatever. And they seem to have interesting dialogue. The game world itself just flows really well and is really organic. And it doesn't stick to a lot of the normal MMO conventions. Go here, kill this many of these enemies. Or
is that a console game?
It is. Actually, I was really surprised that the only console that it's not listed to come out on are the Wii and the PC.
Really?
But already they've started a petition to get it released on the PC because it just makes sense. I thought immediately that it was a PC game.
I don't think an MMO is what the Wii is after. Let's be honest.
No, exactly.
I don't think the Wii is going to be like, oh, we're heartbroken that we didn't get this MMO.
But I mean, looking at the size of the map in the Division, it's from what it looks like, most of Manhattan, and like it's a sizable chunk of New York. And the story behind the whole thing, you know, it's kind of post-apocalyptic. There's a virus that spreads on Black Friday when everyone flocks to the department stores and just murders a large chunk of the entire population. And it becomes this, like, you know, all-for-one kind of free-for-all. You gotta group up with people or, you know, go out lone wolfing it, and the technology looks brilliant. I mean, it's...
I'm interested to see what they can do with some of the new graphic cards and graphic designs and things, too.
Well, even watching the Division, I mean, I know at one point in the gameplay video, somebody walks over to a desk cluttered with items, and they pick up a water bottle, and they reach out, pick up the water bottle, and put it in their jacket. You know, it's not just like, go over here, click a button, it disappears, and it shows up in your inventory. Everything was very slowly paced, and like I said, really seemed really natural, really organic.
I'm interested to see how that works. You know what I want to see is Destiny as well.
Yeah, the new Bungie game.
Yeah, it's Bungie and Activision. So it's the two biggest selling
it's
first-person shooter franchises.
Well,
Halo and Call of Duty.
Yeah.
It's from the makers of both.
Yeah, well, Activision as a development company just likes to throw money at things. They're so fucking loaded.
Well, it's because they keep making games that people buy.
Yeah, well,
right?
I mean...
Like, Call of Duty is probably the best-selling...
Between Call of Duty and Guitar Hero, back when it was popular, they
And Mech Warrior back in the day, even before that. Yeah. The whole Mech Warrior franchise.
Which kind of goes back to Titanfall. Titanfall looks almost like a Mech Warrior type deal, except you can get out on foot and you're not restricted to just the mechs.
Who makes Titanfall?
It
looks like an Activision game to me.
No, I don't know off the top of my head.
But it looks like an Activision game.
Activision is essentially just a publisher. They don't really design any of these games themselves. Like, the Guitar Hero series was designed by Harmonix.
EA.
Oh. Well, no.
Titanfall is EA.
Respawn Entertainment is the developer. EA is the publisher.
Right.
Massive difference.
Yes, agreed. Where does it say that? I don't even.
Right at the top.
Oh, I can't fucking read. Shut up.
That's okay.
I'm looking over here on this thing, and I just missed where it says the. Shut up.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of exciting things happen. I mean, there was a big controversy about the Xbox and the direction that they're going with a lot of their functionality.
It's got me nervous, and I'm a huge proponent of Xbox.
Well, there was a discussion that a Microsoft developer had.
I posted it to our Facebook page on
Halifax and we can definitely take a look at that later, because I honestly I was hugely apprehensive of the direction Xbox went, but being someone who has really attached to Steam lately as a publishing platform, Steam did have those growing pains back in the day. You know, back in the day you weren't allowed to log into somebody else's computer and like
download.
You know, you had to be connected to the internet because you had to open Steam, sign into your Steam account, download the game, and then
play it while
you had to be logged in. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So there's, I after having read what the developer said, I'm less upset about it, but even I'm a little nervous now.
Well, I mean, and the PlayStation still has better hardware. It still has backwards compatibility. It still has cloud functionality. It doesn't require a camera to be connected.
What's that?
The iToy or the Kinect.
Yeah.
You know, and it just seems like they've really focused on the games themselves, which that's what I'm all about.
And the Xbox went the other way with total all-in-one entertainment center.
Exactly.
Which I appreciate. I'm a casual gamer. I love watching live sports, so the TV functionality is amazing. The ability to do a bunch of different things at the same time on the same screen, that to me, that's more impressive. I just think it is.
Well, I feel like the PlayStation is going to get better better frame rates. Things are going to run more smoothly because all that RAM is dedicated to just playing the games.
But I don't know if you saw the hardware that they were talking about for the Xbox One. They have multiple dedicated video cards. Yeah. So when they run separate processes on your screen, they're running off separate.
Oh, that's pretty well standard now. I mean, video cards are running like quad core, and having being able to differentiate between each card. It's kind of standard. I mean, fuck, my phone does that now. I can stop in the middle of a pinball game and go and play something else, or go check my Facebook and start exactly where I left off on any of these things. Yeah, I mean, it's great functionality, don't get me wrong. And Microsoft, you have the option to do a lot more things. I mean, on PlayStation, you could probably do it, but really, how much are you going to do? When are you going to want to do all of that? You can't watch the football game or Skype your friend at the same time, and all the while playing a game or pausing a game kind of thing, because it's not trying to do all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I have to start saving up money for a new TV and a new PlayStation, and it's going to be a rough year.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna
have to win the lottery.
Yeah. Let's get away from games for a sec. We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
This is just disgusting a little bit, and I did find it a little hard to watch. There's a video of a judge that's ignoring a woman who's basically saying that she was sexually assaulted. And this was back in 2011, and it only just made the news last week.
Yeah, I saw this kicking around the internet, but I didn't watch it because I already distrust the justice system and the government, and I know shit like this happens all the time. Why watch it again?
Essentially, what happened was, and I don't want to watch the video. I don't want to.
No, I read all about it.
Yeah, essentially, what happened was, this woman was in court, and was in a separate room. She was taken to a separate room where there was this bailiff or this court guard or whatever, who told her to lift up her shirt.
Yeah, he had to check her for drugs.
He was searching her, essentially, and it was not legit.
Yeah, he was searching her nasty bits.
He fondled her. He did all these things, and she was there with her 3-year-old child. And when you watch the video, she's screaming to the judge, like, this man just sexually assaulted me, this, that, and the other thing, and it's going on. And the judge is ignoring her. And not only that, but the guard grabs her and pulls her aside and says, we're arresting you. You're for making false accusations towards a justice officer or whatever it was. Which is bullshit, by the way.
Long story short, he lost his job.
And 2 years later. 2 years later.
Yeah. That's fucked up.
But the video actually shows the judge playing with the girl's 3-year-old child.
Yeah, and
instead of listening to the pleas of this woman.
And
then they were like, if you walk up to that microphone, we won't arrest you if you say that that's not true, that didn't happen. And she goes, okay, I will. And she walks up to the microphone and she's like, he sexually assaulted me, right into the microphone really loudly. And he's like, he did this, he did that, he did the other thing. And then they put cuffs on her, and like she asked for a female cop, and they wouldn't do it. There was basically, he told her, lift up your shirt. She's like, I don't think I should do that. There's no witnesses. You're by yourself.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
It was fucked up.
People get way too much power, and it goes to their head, and they know that there won't be any consequences. Essentially, I mean, what I'm absolutely sick of is members of the justice system, the police force, things like that. We somehow find it okay as a society to just fire them. Oh, you have to go find another job because you sexually assaulted a woman. Like, what the fuck? Why can't you be prosecuted for that?
Yeah, and sometimes they're not even fired. They get put on probation.
Paid leave. They get paid on vacation. Yeah,
I don't understand how...
They get a paid vacation for, like, raping a woman. Like, fuck you.
Well, didn't I posted a story to our Facebook page 3 weeks ago or something about that cop that had been fired for the 8th time or something?
It's absolutely disgusting, and I think it's the single biggest problem with the justice system is how much... I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of police are there to better society and to protect us, but a lot of them aren't. A lot of them think they can get away with just about anything.
And you know what? The sad reality is that a lot of people joined the police force because they were bullies when they were kids, and now it's like, oh, a job where I get a gun? Sweet.
Oh.
I just don't understand how places like the police force and the military specifically, they handle these things internally. And I don't see how is that legal? I mean, how come these are not handled by proper courts and judges where people are actually not biased?
It's like a pimp that slaps around his horse, and then the horse complains and he's like, well, I'll launch an internal investigation.
Yeah, a bunch of other pimps sitting around going, no,
it's all good.
That's just cool.
Yeah, like it's kind of incestual. I know totally what you mean.
And even worse is that going into colleges and universities where they handle the same kind of thing, sexual assault, internally with their own courts or
wait, that happens in universities?
No, but those are viably, like, you can bring criminal charges up.
No, but universities prefer to keep it internal, so
they can
it doesn't
prefer
get
all
out.
they want.
If you're sexually assaulted and your decision is to go to the police, that's your decision.
Yes, but
you're not going to be at that school any longer.
What will happen? Like, what you're saying is there's repercussions for wanting justice?
Yeah, there have been reports coming out all year for the past few years about universities who basically tell their victims that they're going to get in trouble if they go to the police, and if they don't handle it in the university court system. They're called honor courts.
Honor courts, fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing, like, we have honor killings too. Is that okay? Is that fine? We don't live amongst...
Society is moving towards The Purge. That movie that's coming out. We're moving there. Slowly, but it feels like that's the direction we're headed. Like, it's fucked up. Have you seen that True Facts About the Land Snail?
No, I have not.
All of those movies are hilarious, or videos.
It's pretty short. It's only 2 minutes long. Why don't we watch it?
Sure.
It's all about the audio. You got to listen to this guy. He explains the facts, but they're actual facts. Here we go, folks. True facts about the land snail.
Ad.
After an ad in 5 seconds. Because that's how we roll, mofos.
Here are true facts about the land snail. The land snail is just like a tiny human, who happens to look like a disembodied tongue, and is covered in mucus, and has a shell. The land snail breathes air, just like the peoples do, and it eats with its mouth hole. Its bottom pair of tentacles are for smelling, while its top pair are for crude seeing. It is, however, born without ears, which makes hearing difficult. Impossible, really. They're deaf. But in all other ways, they're exactly like a tiny human being, who happens to have a penis next to his face. And a vagina. Most land snails are hermaphrodites, meaning they have both mommy parts and daddy parts. This, however, does not mean that they can self-baby make. When they mate, land snails circle around one another. Think full-body French kiss, but with more mucus. As they do this, they're looking for opportunities to impale each other with their love darts. I wish this was a metaphor, but it's not. They actually have love darts. Like actual darts. It's crazy. Land snails have a totally different level of kinky. These calcified darts, which look totally badass, are stored in the snail's dart sac, located right below the penis. When the darts impale the mate, they inhibit spermicidal secretions, which makes the next part more effective. After a spirited darting, the snails insert their penises into each other's vaginas, and then they just hang out. And try not to laugh, because that might hurt the other snail's feelings. Even if all the junk is right there in your face, it's not nice to laugh. The snail holds on to sperm from multiple partners before fertilizing its eggs, which makes paternity tests a bitch. The eggs are then laid into topsoil and soon baby snails emerge, thus completing the spiral of life. You see what I did there? Spiral. Oh, God, kill me. Next time you get anxious about sex or sexuality, remember that when you meet someone you find attractive, at least you don't have to worry about a dart getting shot into your head.
So,
That was really entertaining
I know, right?
and informative.
You should watch his other videos. He has a whole bunch about different animals. They're hilarious.
I like his Morgan Freeman impression. It's actually pretty spot on.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, first time I watched that, I died laughing. Love darts? Come on. So good. No, I wish this was a metaphor. But really, they shoot actual darts. It's crazy.
Yeah, that was actually very, very entertaining. That's some quality YouTube right there.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and I just thought that was really an interesting thing. So it was one of the funniest things I'd seen in a while, and I figured I'd share that. The next picture that's up on the Facebook page there, too, that entertained me. How it's basically a scientific explanation of how, at one point, every human being was nothing but an asshole. Because cellularly, that's how we develop.
Because science.
And if you can't see it, it's because you're listening.
Another interesting fact.
You can check it on our Facebook page.
Every human was originally female.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I knew that.
I learned that from Jurassic Park.
Bam.
Thank you. Hello. I think that's going to bring us pretty much to the break. What I would like to ask you is the question, because there's a thing I posted on our Facebook page that was basically, it was a guy sends his unsolicited dick picture to a chick, and she kind of owns him. So over the break, check that out. Have a look at that.
Not the dick pic, just the story.
Yeah. There's a link on our Facebook page. It's totally safe for work. Everything's blurred where it needs to be blurred. It's not a very big blur. Anyway, whatever. The point is, have a look at that. We'll talk about that in the second half.
You want your special day to be just right, right? Well, so did I. I called Maladjusted Media, and all the little details took care of themselves. An audio-video setup? photographer, and even a videographer, all working as a team to capture the memories I cared about. Oh, and I saved a bundle by getting them all in the same place. You should try it.
Visit us online, maladjustedmedia.ca.
Oasis, epic sports pub, where you don't have to spend a lot to get a lot.
Hi, I'm Dan Soller from My Living Will. You're listening to It's On Halifax.
Thanks for the heads up.
Good to know that.
I've almost embarrassed myself a couple of times.
Yeah. Rock. Yeah. Ing.
Yeah.
Bird.
Yeah! You want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? Oh, yeah, that was the worst. It's more like, ah!
You guys are deafening people who are listening right now.
We got a tweet. Maybe Pat's an alien.
I am an alien.
It's good times.
I just have to apologize for everybody that I just screamed at right there. But, you gotta do that noise justice. You can't half-ass that shit, come on.
Well, the noise he made wasn't super loud. It was just really fucking irritating.
Yeah, that's because they had to fix it for the movie. You master that shit. I couldn't automatically, drop the levels of the mic.
Big Country Nelson got his ass handed to him yesterday.
Who?
Roy Nelson, UFC.
Never saw it. I never heard of him.
He's the really big fat guy that keeps knocking people out.
Huh. Has he been on a warpath or what?
Yeah, 12 knockouts in a row.
Yeah, that counts as a warpath, I'd say.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure 4 counts as a warpath. That's absolutely dominating.
Yeah. Killing spree. Rampage.
Multi-kill.
Yeah.
Godlike.
That was when you get an overkill. That's the best.
Overkill. Godlike.
Oh man.
And Dan texted or tweeted rather, his favorites from E3, and a lot of them I didn't really think of, especially Pokemon X and Y.
His what?
Pokemon X and Y from E3. It is the most graphically impressive Pokemon game. They're just ramping it up, but I just can't deal with the amount of Pokemon there are now. They're pushing 500 or something. I'm like, that is no, I'm done. No more Pokemans. Stop. Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2 looks really good, but I don't know. Call my dad later.
30 seconds. Five, four, three,
And welcome back from the break, everybody, to It's on Halifax.
Hello.
We're going to start the second half. I think Adam wanted to talk about this whole dick picture fiasco.
I just want to get people's take on it because there's been some mixed reaction. Some people think that this chick went too far.
I do not see how this is a polarizing thing. I mean, I called it literal justice porn.
I think it's funny because if she had shown it to the cops or whatever, people would have been like, yeah, you go, girl. That guy sexually harassed you. But where she's like, I'm going to send it to your mom, everyone's like, whoa. Whoa. That's where people draw the line? Whoa.
Now,
don't send it to your mom, yo.
I heard about this I heard about this secondhand, so I haven't been able to read all of these tweets back and forth from the mother. So let's go through these.
No, this is the actual conversation
that
the buddy had with the girl, where she basically tells him, I'm going to show it to your mom.
Please, Emily, scroll to the top.
Don't do that, it's my mom. So Buddy says, how's it going?
I like how he opens it up. How's your day going? Is it pouring in Long Island yet? Dick picture. Hey, how's the weather? Here's my dick.
Yeah, so then...
Lol, you don't like that?
Don't send me that or whatever? Lol, you don't like? Fuck no. Too big for you?
I didn't need to see that. I don't need to be disrespected by someone I don't even know. How is he talking to this?
So he says, you're a prude, but he says you're
And then
a
she
prude.
corrects her grammar. I want to marry this chick.
Yeah, correct, because it's YOU''RE.
Nice try,
though. No wonder you're single. Again,
you're. Oh, man, she has to correct this guy's grammar twice in a row?
I have a big cock. And since you're pretty easy to find on Facebook, Trevor. Blank, shall I send mom
a picture of your penis?
And well, no, basically it's her name.
Oh,
he puts her name up.
Screen caps of this conversation to show how you treat women. Don't, he says. Oh man, I can feel his balls retract into his body immediately.
I think I might do it anyway since you felt the need to harass me. Why do you think it's okay to sexually harass girls you don't know? I thought you would like it, he says.
You stupid asshole. I honestly think that you deserve to have that uncomfortable conversation with your mother. Yes.
To which he says, that is not right. Don't do that. It's my mom.
It is right. She should know how you perpetuate rape culture. I'm sick of being treated like this. Alright, you had to use the fucking rape culture buzzword. Alright, I take it back. I don't want to marry this woman. She does have a solid point.
And
not taking that away from her.
She does nail his grammar.
And I totally agree that she should have sent this picture to this guy's mother, because that's a conversation you need to have when you're like 3 years old and you whip your dick out at primary school. That's a conversation you should have had a long time ago with your mom. You can't pull your penis out just because you've discovered it and it's like your playground doesn't mean everyone else wants to see it. You are young when you are discovering that. This guy obviously had some fucking deficient parenting.
Yeah, anyway. I wanted to get people's... Because when I clicked on the article, at the bottom there's all kinds of comments. And a lot of them are in agreement, and a lot of them are like, she took it too far. And I just thought, what a fucking weird place to draw the line.
I know, right?
You can call the cops, just don't call my mom.
No, I agree with Pat. Yeah.
No, I agree that it's... I agree with her. I just want to get other people's opinion.
I'm all for some serious...
I'm not arguing against what she did at all.
I'm all for some tough love. I mean, this guy had it coming. Oh man, so bad. Yeah, and his mother, to raise someone like that, she kind of had it coming too. Although, hard to say.
Yeah, you don't know the situation.
That's true. I don't know his mom. I'm sure she's a classy lady.
Maybe not. Anyway.
But I think this woman who he was harassing acted in an appropriate way.
I just think it's funny that, like I said, that is where some people were drawing the line at. Don't call his mom.
Oh,
that was that was their big argument. What?
But his mother doesn't deserve that, and no, and it's not about his mother. I mean, she washed him. She wiped his ass when he was a kid. Come on. There's nothing sexual about it. Sending a full-grown photo of her son's dick, it's like she's seen that dick countless times, more than any woman ever has. So why is that an issue?
Well, it's just because basically I think the whole thing was the tattletale thing. Call the cops, get the cops involved, but don't call my mom.
No. But this guy acted like a child.
He did, and
So
I'm in total agreement that she should send it.
The
to his
punishment
mom.
should be childlike.
And what's funny is a lot of women would have said, "I'm going to send this to the police," or "I'll call the cops if you harass me again," or this, that, and the other thing.
And then he might have stopped, but he wouldn't have learned a lesson quite like this.
He would have done it to someone else.
I'm still curious as to how they ended up in contact with each other. Does it explain that?
It almost seems like maybe he got her number at a bar or something.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, they don't know each other, but they kind of know each other.
Yeah.
Maybe. That's speculation, but...
The idea being, I think she may have given him her contact at a bar or something like that.
You know what? That's an open door. Definitely overstep the bounds there. That's...
Just because someone says, "Hey, here's my number," it doesn't mean,
Yeah.
I want to see your penis right now.
That's an open door to a house party where he brought all of his drunk friends and just ruined the place.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I agree.
So if you're a man, don't ever act like that man did.
So before we go across the pond, let's talk about something that happened right in our own backyard. Dartmouth man caught and charged with committing indecent act in McDonald's parking lot. The McDonald's on Main Street, he was caught jerking it in the parking lot. Seriously.
Stranger things have happened.
Well, and what the article says is that the most disturbing part is that he was doing it in a parking lot of a restaurant that caters mostly to children. That's the most disturbing
Yeah,
thing.
see, that's the thing.
All of it is disturbing, but the thing that sticks out the most is kids' restaurants.
Because when you pull into that McDonald's parking lot, they have that huge play area that kind of sticks out from the whole situation. So, yeah, that's...
Yeah, with windows, by the way. So if he's in the parking lot jerking it and he can see in the windows and he's watching kids, like, that's...
Yeah,
extra
I
creepy.
actually opened the article to see what time it was, and 8:15.
AM.
Oh, AM too.
8:15 in the
AM.
morning?
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Ugh.
Oh, yeah, he didn't have time to stroke out the morning wood. Figured, do it with the McMuffin and coffee. God damn it, people are awful.
I know, and it's gross. Yeah. Also, you notice I corrected.
At least he didn't solicit.
I
any
corrected my
children.
own grammar because I realized that I used they are instead of their, as in possessive. I corrected. I caught myself.
Everybody gets one.
I caught myself before anybody else got there. It's my own bad. My bad. But let's go across the pond for a second. Let's go to England. There was a man in England. He called the police to complain about the quality of his hooker.
He's paying good money for that hooker.
He called the police to complain about the prostitute he'd hire, alleging that she had falsely represented herself.
She's trying to run a business. That's false advertising.
If she was in Amsterdam, that would probably be a legitimate complaint.
True.
Yes, if she was in a place where prostitution was legal and soliciting sex was legal, that would be fine.
But you know what? The guy's paying for sex. Obviously, he's no prize himself. But he should have just sucked it up. A hole is a hole is a hole. I mean, come on. Yes.
But, like, how dumb do you have to be
Extremely.
to call the cops on someone that you are complicit in breaking the law with? It's like being a bank robber and being like, "Man, we robbed this bank and he totally took more of a cut than me. I'm going to call the cops on this guy.
Fair.
He totally screwed me." So anyway.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, not the sharpest knife in the woodshed.
No, and I just thought, like, when I first read the story, I'm like, is that from Florida? But no, it's England.
England.
Yeah. It just seems like a Florida kind of story. There's a fella here, an 82-year-old barber, who we talked about. Well, I might have posted a link. I don't know if we talked about him on the show, but what he does is goes to the park on his days off and cuts homeless people's hair, and they pay him in hugs. He cuts their hair, he gives them a hug.
I like Emily.
That's what he does. While at the same time, he's got friends that feed these people. Like, they go as a group. He cuts their hair. They give them food. They, give them clothes.
So he's doing the government's job, essentially.
Yeah, but last week, he was kicked out of the park by the Health and Safety Board because he's cutting people's hair. He doesn't have a barber's license.
Oh, come on.
And they're saying it's unsanitary. Even though he soaks all his gear in alcohol like any barber would, he sets up his...
So just because he doesn't have a piece of paper saying that he's licensed to be a barber.
The most fucked up thing about it is less than a year ago, that same city that is kicking him out of that park gave him a commendation for his humanitarian work. I mean, he was like humanitarian of the year or something for that city.
It's not like he's a lawyer or something. Oh my god, you don't have your lawyer's license? No, he's cutting people's fucking hair, alright?
I cut my own hair.
Well, you shouldn't be allowed to do that because that is unsanitary.
It's not safe.
Damn.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's politics, I guess. Something seriously wrong with the world.
Yeah. Yeah. So...
What is this nonsense with the Oreos and the Reese's peanut butter cups?
I don't know, I just saw
fucking delicious.
I saw that picture, I'm like, that can happen?
So you essentially take apart an Oreo, you put a Reese peanut butter cup in between the two of them, slather it in chocolate, and then eat it.
Oh, no, don't forget the sprinkles.
Sprinkles. Sorry. I can't forget the sprinkles.
There's sprinkles. Yes.
That is outrageous.
Somebody's comment on that picture was, now fry it.
Deep fry it, yes.
Sounds totally healthy.
I have
that won't kill you, and hot dogs will. Go figure.
Yeah, well, that much refined sugar is not good for anybody.
No, I'm just... And that's why the comment I posted when I posted the picture was diabetic coma. Anyone?
I'm sure one of those is not going to do much
I
damage.
would demolish one of those.
Yeah, I think after one of those, though, when your eye starts twitching, you can't have a second.
No. One is good enough for one.
It was like trying to eat the double down. I didn't even get all the way through it, and I just felt sick to my stomach immediately. It wasn't even all that good, either. I feel like that would be absolutely delicious. That would be worth it. And it's small. Like, an Oreo isn't huge, right? Like, it's a lot of sugar all at once, but it's like it's the way I treat the cherry blossom candies. One a year. It's so fucking sweet. One a year. I feel like that would be like, if you had one of those, you couldn't make a bunch of those and eat them till they were gone. Oh god, no.
I couldn't even make a bunch of those and eat one a day until they were gone. That's how sweet they are.
I probably could.
Well, I might, but you feel gross.
Yeah, you do.
Day 3, you're just like, what is wrong with me?
I would break out, which is something that I learned recently. When I eat too much sugar, which is not a pleasant feeling, breaking out. I made like 24 cookies and then kind of ran out of proper groceries and just kept eating the cookies for like 4 or 5 days. Yeah, it got me by, but what do you do?
Yeah. It's just so fucked up. Whatever.
Are we going to move on to this day in history?
We have been told by the way, pardon me for burping. I'm drinking beer.
You savage.
Shut up. I'm going to hang out with my family today, so I'm priming.
Because it is Father's Day, which is something we haven't mentioned. So happy Father's Day.
Yeah, I thought we were going to leave on that, but we can do that now. Let's do Father's Day now.
Well, I mean, it's...
What's your favorite Father's Day memory?
I don't really have any.
No?
No, they haven't really been anything outrageous.
What about just favorite dad memory?
Yeah, what's your favorite dad memory?
Do not put me on the spot. Come on.
I mean, we can all... It's so funny, because people are usually like, well, the worst one was... like I can think of those really shitty moments because they stick with you because they're usually moments where you fucked up and you learned something that day. Usually,
I
say
have trouble
usually.
with my mom more than my dad's.
You're
And I
a
have
girl.
two dads.
You're a girl.
It's true.
You're a girl. Can I say that again? You're a girl. Guys get in trouble with their dads. Girls get in trouble with their moms. That's how it works. That's why it's daddy's little girl and a mama's boy.
It's
That's
true.
why those terms exist.
It's true.
It's true.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'd probably have to say the trip that we took to Cuba a couple of years ago. Wandering around Havana with my dad while he watched me get drunk was kind of fun.
That actually
Awesome.
that sounds like it would be fun. That sounds like...
And by kind of fun, I mean it was probably one of the most exciting things I've ever done in my entire life. Because have you ever been to Havana?
No.
Havana, Cuba? Holy fuck. It's beautiful. The whole place is gorgeous. I mean, the Spanish-style architecture, all the people are incredibly nice. And the cafes are gorgeous. The cigars were delicious. I could have stayed there for the rest of my life. Now I know what Hemingway saw in the place. Absolutely. I got to sit in the stool next to him.
Yeah,
Right.
you had told me that
Yeah.
story, but I didn't realize it was a daddy moment.
Yeah. Well, he goes every year or two. Likes the heat. They help his back and his joints and whatnot. So that's his ideal vacation spot. He'll get it.
And the salt water's good
Yeah.
for...
He'll get tickets really
Circulation.
super cheap online. So like $800 for a week, all expenses. Like
Yeah, well, that's...
Uh,
Cuba's a cheap destination because the resorts don't rate next to the Dominican Republic.
no,
and
but I mean it's the
Saint
people.
Lucia.
I feel like the people really make up for it. You hear a lot of horror stories about Jamaica or the Dominican where people are kind of like money grubbing and they are a little more impoverished and they try to take advantage of tourists and stuff like that. I didn't find any of that in Cuba.
Well, that's
at
also...
all.
There's a huge difference, and there's... People don't get the right setting. There's a huge difference when you're traveling between staying on a resort and...
And traveling out to the locales.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's a huge difference.
But either way, I mean, even when we were in Havana or even when we were on the resort, it was all ideal to me.
It was all good time with the dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Mine would probably have to be when my dad joined my soccer team. Like, me and my dad didn't get along for a while. There was a lot of... Well, every guy goes through that.
Yeah, I
with the
mean,
dad
my
at some
dad and I
point.
didn't have much in common either.
Well, the only thing that me and my dad had in common was sports. So I heard about this soccer team that was forming, and it didn't even exist yet as a team. So they were going to have a meeting, and then I ended up going to this meeting and meeting some people. But I invited my dad to come out and play. And at the time, I was 21, I want to say, 21. Which would have made my dad, that was 9 years ago, 43.
Don't look at me about mental math.
I'm just thinking. But anyway, the point is, my dad... Actually, no, we would have been 44. Whatever. Point is, my dad joined my soccer team and played on the same team as me. Because senior men, it's 18 plus. It's not...
Yeah.
Right? So my dad and I actually played on the same soccer team, and that was like a huge bonding experience. So there wasn't like one moment, but like that whole... Like, he played on the team for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah. And, I mean, he was by far the oldest guy on the team, but he was also by far not the most out of shape. Like, my dad's in really good shape. Like, he referees and he does a lot of stuff and plays ball hockey or whatever when he can and plays hockey and he's in good shape. But what we share together is sports, so that was like a really cool coming together moment for me.
Absolutely, yeah. So remember to call your dad, jerks.
Yeah, it's Father's Day. My dad doesn't watch this show.
Yeah, no, there's no.
My mom does though,
Neither.
so my mom will fucking tell him verbatim everything that happened.
Yeah.
But
dad's
happy Father's Day to all of the fathers out there, and from me to my own, I guess.
Yeah.
And now we can move into this day in history. So, some of the past Father's Days, even before Father's Day even existed, these are some of the things that went on in the world.
Yes. Ugh. Let's see. Rome was sacked by the Vandal army in the year 455.
Now that's way before Father's Day.
They had dads then.
Oh, they did have dads. They just didn't have a particular
I
day.
don't. Is there a Father's Day this day in history?
Ooh, probably not.
Because, I mean, this day in history is June 16th, but June 16th isn't Father's Day every year, right? So, it changes.
Does it? Oh, well, I guess the
Because it's the
calendar
Sunday,
changes. Yeah.
right? So, I mean, there has to be some sort of a Father's Day, like, this day in history. Like, all father-based history. But anyway, just...
Now you're reaching.
Whatever. Shut up. Just bring back up the regular this day in history. Yeah.
You've sent Emily on a wild Google chase.
That just happened. The second Madison Square Gardens opened in 1890.
Oh, but before that, in 1884, at Coney Island in Brooklyn, the first roller coaster in America opened. Roller coasters are the shit.
We have one at Upper Clements Park, and it's a wooden roller coaster.
Yeah.
Those are the best.
They're the best.
So much
but they're
scarier.
Also terrifying.
Well,
because there's so much give and movement.
Yeah.
And the sound that it makes when you
The
hit.
rattling.
There's an amazing... I think it's the largest wooden roller coaster in Canada or maybe in North America is in Playland in Vancouver, BC. And it is fantastic. It's my favorite roller coaster.
Yeah, this one doesn't... The one at Upper Clements Park is pretty basic. There's no loop-de-loops.
Well, you can't have those on the wooden ones.
Those don't exist.
That would be a death trap.
That would be amazing.
I get to ride the, I think it's called the Old Hickory at Tokyo Disneyland when I was in Japan.
Oh, that's a good one, too.
It rattled.
Yeah.
Rattled like the Dickens.
So fantastic.
Scared the pants off me.
I like them way more than, like, the modern ones.
1883. The New York Giants baseball team admitted all ladies for free to the ball game. It was the first ever Ladies' Day.
Huh. Well, I mean, that's a way to round out your audience. I'm sure in 1883, that was actually kind of progressive for the time, I would say.
Well, basically, they had the same thought that bars do now. If you put hot women here, men will show up.
Yeah, if you put women there, period, men will show up.
Please don't use period in that sentence.
Gross.
Yeah, sorry. In 1907, the Russian Tsar dissolved the Duma in St. Petersburg. What else?
I guess it says something about the two of us when we go through these. The ones that
we choose.
Because
Yeah.
I would have went with 1904, the novel Ulysses by James Joyce took place. And you skipped right to the next one.
I'm with Pat.
I also skipped 1903, where the Ford Motor Company was incorporated.
I hardly even know what that means.
Cars.
Business savvy, I am not.
And I always find it funny which ones Emily highlights, like literally like highlights, so that we'll read them.
Well, I'm sorry. The term Nazi stormtroopers just brings up really interesting imagery in my head.
You go to Star Wars, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, you know. 1932, the ban on Nazi stormtroopers was lifted by the von Papen government in Germany.
Boring. 1952, the biggest invasion of privacy ever had taken place. Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl, was published in the United States. Yeah, that is a collection of someone's private thoughts.
Who was dead.
Yeah, that doesn't make it okay.
But it is one of the most beloved stories from that entire era.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good window into the occupation, into the experiences of almost an entire people. So I guess it was important in that respect. But really, nobody have any respect for this little girl's privacy? Come on.
You don't hear a lot about this, but in 1955, Pope Pius the 12th excommunicated Argentine President Juan Perón.
The ban was lifted 8 years later. You're excommunicated. No, you can come back. It's fine.
Well, in order for the ban to have been lifted, he would have had to make some sort of amends. But excommunication is a big fucking deal in the church. Like, you don't excommunicate somebody for no fucking reason. There was some serious shit going on.
I guess. I mean, to say that that's a serious thing is like telling me that someone telling me to go to hell is a serious thing. I can't help but laugh at it. You're excommunicated. You're not allowed in our imaginary club. Sorry.
Okey doke. What else did she highlight here? 1963. 26-year-old Valentina Tereshkova went into orbit aboard the Vostok 6 spacecraft for 3 days. First female space traveler.
Badass.
Go ladies.
Yeah. There was a theory at the time, too, and they were working with women as fighter pilots and astronauts because the way that the female body handles G-forces.
Is it because we have a different center of gravity?
Exactly. And they were messing around with how could we make that work to our advantage. Mm-hmm. And the conclusion came out that we can't because, and I'm trying not to be sexist, but the facts were like men in the strength of their arms were able to overcome those G-forces, whereas women at lower G-forces couldn't. You know what I mean? Like their bodies were capable of withstanding them better, but their strength wasn't there to
resist
overcome.
That's totally valid. I mean, there are physical differences, so.
And
Science.
yeah, but there was this entire program of like, should we make all our fighter pilots women?
That would
there was this big scientific
at the same time.
This big scientific thing.
Hacks.
Anyway, I just thought it was neat.
That is super neat.
Anyway, that's a side note to 1963, apparently.
In 1980, the Blues Brothers opened in Chicago. Hells yeah.
There you go. 1978 was a sad time for me. The film adaptation of Grease premiered in New York City. I fucking hate Grease and everything about it.
High five.
That's wrong though, because the film came out before the stage show, so it's not an adaptation. It's just Grease.
Oh.
Yeah. The stage show is based on the film.
Take that, stupid internet site.
But it was written as a play, so it
wasn't written as a play. It was written as a movie.
Really?
And then it was turned into a stage show.
Either way, it's awful. And
It got owned by our controller.
The music from it is totally shitty.
I hate that movie. I don't know what it is about the songs from Grease. They make me just want
and
to
I like John Travolta. Don't get me wrong. I just fucking hate Grease. And Grease balls. What else we got there? The Russian voters had their first independent presidential election in 1996. Boris Yeltsin was the winner.
Democracy.
After a runoff.
And then in 1992, George W. Bush welcomed Boris Yeltsin to a meeting in Washington, D.C. for the first time in a very long time.
The two agreed in principle to reduce strategic weapon arsenals by about 2/3 by the year 2003.
I like that. In principle. That is the most political term. It's just, in principle. We came up with the idea, and we're going to try to maybe almost do that, I guess. What's the old saying? In principle, in theory and principle are the same thing. In principle, they're not.
Practice.
Same deal.
In theory and practice are the same. In practice, they're not.
No, well.
This is kind of neat to me. In 2000, U.S. federal regulators approved the merger of Bell Atlantic and the GTE Corporation. The merger created the nation's largest local phone company.
Why does that interest you?
My great-great-great-great-grandfather is Alexander Graham Bell. And direct line. Like, none of these offshoots, like my second cousin's first daughters,
right.
Whatever, right? Like, he's my great-great-great-great-grandfather, straight back. So it's kind of neat to me whenever I read anything about the Bell Company.
Yeah, that's super cool. I did not know that.
Yeah, you know what's extra not cool?
What?
Is how I don't think any of that money falls into me.
Yeah, I was going to say, you should get a piece of that pie, shouldn't you? Come on.
Yeah,
How did that
huge.
happen?
well, it's not owned by the family.
Oh, that's true.
Right?
Yeah, yes. And in 2008, coming nearer to present day, California began issuing marriage licenses to same-sex couples.
And then they took it away. Because the gays haven't had a hard enough time. You fucking assholes. And
Is
that
that funny?
concludes
No,
this day in history.
but I guess it was.
A hard enough time, you fucking assholes. I'm sorry. You just made 2 gay jokes in a row and didn't even realize.
I wasn't even joking.
I know, that's what's funny.
Seriously.
Also, can we watch this? Actually, I don't want to watch it so much as... see that video?
What is it?
It's this skateboarder who's minding his own business, and this guy comes up and, like, has a weapon and threatens to fucking stab this guy. Not really sure what started the fight or who's the good guy or whatever, but everywhere that it's posted, it's like, this guy owns this asshole. It's like, what? So, the skateboarder, what happens is, like, this guy is armed and comes at him, and Buddy finally, after, like, a lot of, like, wandering around trying to get away from him, the guy chases him down, so he just defends himself. And him, the skateboarder, and 3 of his buddies beat the living fuck out of this guy, this gangbanger.
Well deserved.
Yeah, they beat the living shit out of him. And, like, one guy's got him in a headlock, and he's fucking smashing his face in, and they've got the weapon off him already. And there's 2 other guys just fucking smashing him with skateboards.
Yeah, skateboards are a pretty effective weapon.
Yeah.
I always promised myself that if anyone ever pulled a knife on me or any stupid shit like that and I got the better of them, I would break their hands. Yeah, what do you do? Lesson learned, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
Like I said, tough love. Hard lessons.
Yeah, I thought it was...
We'll watch it later.
Yeah, I just thought it was different. And like I said, I don't... In the video, it doesn't really set up who started what.
Oh, just no context on the internet?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like, that's what I hate about some videos on the internet. You clearly see, like, that guy picked a fight with that guy and got owned, so fuck that guy. Or that guy picked a fight with that guy, beat the shit out of him, and now, like, everyone's like, oh, press charges, police. Like, help this guy. Like, there's always, like, everybody picks sides, but in this video, it doesn't really set up who does what, or what the context is. It sort of cuts in halfway.
Okay.
So it's hard for me, like, I want to say, yeah, this fucking douchebag got owned, but at the same time, you're like, but did the skateboarder and his friends say something or do something to this guy that made him do that?
Sometimes I think you spend way too much time on the internet.
Maybe I do.
Your mother just tweeted that your dad is coming to pick you up.
Oh, that's good.
That's adorable.
It's Father's Day, and I was like, by the time I'm done, it's going to be like 1:30, maybe 2 o'clock. It's an hour and a half bus ride to my parents' house. It's like, then you're looking at like 3:30. Like, fuck that. I'm not going out there, but apparently my dad's coming to pick me up, so I guess I'll go then.
So we'll wrap it up.
Also, good advice if you're that guy fucking the ugly hooker from England. Wrap it up. Actually, even if she's pretty, if she's a hooker, you should probably wrap it up.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
This episode of It's On Halifax was brought to you by Maladjusted Media and Oasis on Spring Garden Road.